All right, so Winn-Dixie, chapters 5 through 7. So as we get to know our characters better and pay attention to the things they say and do, we start to notice patterns. So patterns are the things that they do over and over again. So let's think back to chapters 1 and 2. We noticed that Opal was kind. She stood up for Winn-Dixie at the grocery store. She cleaned up Winn-Dixie and she gave Winn-Dixie a name, and she didn't care that he was ugly or that he limped and that he was really smelly. So today I want to teach you that as you notice patterns in a character's behavior, you can add to your original idea about them to come up with an even bigger idea. So we're going to look at chapters that we've read so far, so chapters 1 all the way to chapter 7, and do we notice that pattern? Okay, so my idea in the original book, in the very beginning, is that Opal is big-hearted and kind. So I'm looking for patterns of that. Does Opal show that pattern throughout the chapters? So let's focus on one idea that we have about Opal and see if there's a pattern of behavior that supports that original idea. Okay? So Opal is big-hearted and kind. So let's look at the chapters I just read, 5 through 7, and see if that pattern continues. "Well now, look at that," she said. "That dog is smiling at me." "It's a talent of his," I told her. "It's a fine talent," Miss Franny said. "A very fine talent." And she smiled back at Winn-Dixie. "We could be friends," I said to Miss Franny. "I mean, you and me and Winn-Dixie, we could all be friends." So if I look back at my original idea, Opal is big-hearted and kind. Do you see Opal showing kindness and a big heart to Miss Franny? So let's look at the very last part. "We could be friends," I said to Miss Franny. "I mean, you and me and Winn-Dixie. We could all be friends." So she's befriending this lady who is very old, right? She tells us the story of how she has lived there forever, and her dad gave her the library, and all the people that she knows is now old and dead and gone. She's basically the only one left, right? And she tells the story about the bear. And what does Opal notice? She notices that Miss Franny is a little lonely, right? So she says to her, "We could be friends. You, me, Winn-Dixie, we could all be friends." So does that support my original idea that Opal is big-hearted and kind? It does. She is a very, very kind little girl. So, do you see how I looked back over what I have read with my idea front and center to come up with an even bigger idea? Okay? So I came up with that original idea and I focused on that. And then I looked through my text and I found supporting evidence. This is my supporting evidence that she is big-hearted and kind. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this. You guys are going to pick an idea. You're going to find supporting text from your book as your activity, okay? So you're going to give this a try with an idea that you have come up with a character in your book. So choose one idea about them and then look for evidence in the text to support and grow your original idea. So your character might be super brave. So you're going to find a part in your book where it talks about your character being brave. and you're going to write that in this activity, okay? So your character might be super smart, and they're just smart throughout the entire book. They keep making really smart choices. You're going to find text as your evidence to prove your idea. So your idea is that your character is smart, and here's the evidence, okay? So your character could be strong or smart or super intelligent or super silly or just very clumsy. Your character could be just anything, really. It depends on the book you're reading, okay? So you're going to come up with an idea, and then you're going to find the evidence in your book, and that's going to be your activity. All right, rewatch this if you get confused, or not text me, email me.